I think it will be much more complicated now, says this man who's traveling from Venezuela. Now we are thinking about finding a way to get through before Trump takes the presidency. DHS officials telling NBC News that they have not yet seen a surge in migrants heading to the United States, but that they want CBP and ICE officials to be prepared.
One of the first calls I'm going to make is to Mexico. You stop letting people come in through our border.
Trump now vowing to deport millions of undocumented migrants, saying his plan has, quote, no price tag.
I don't even know how I feel about this, because some of them migrants are really running from something, and I feel for them. What up, YouTube? You click the title, you read the page, so I'm gonna just get to the point. A group of migrants make their way to the U.S. before Trump's take the office? Yo, listen, man. Who this? Is NBC News? Yeah, NBC News, they be hit and miss sometimes. So let's see what they talking about here, because there's just no way. Because why would y'all come to the U.S. before Trump's take the office just so he could potentially, you know what? Just subscribe for the vibe.
Tonight, hundreds of miles south of the border in Mexico, a caravan of migrants chanting, "We are not criminals," is rushing to make it to the U.S.-Mexico border before the Trump administration is sworn in. Many carrying their belongings in plastic bags and on their backs, and already starting to voice their fears about not being able to cross into the United States come January. I think it will be much more complicated now, says this man who's traveling from Venezuela. Now we are thinking about finding a way to get through before Trump takes the presidency. DHS officials telling NBC News that they have not yet seen a surge in migrants heading to the United States, but that they want CBP and ICE officials to be prepared.
One of the first calls I'm going to make is to Mexico. You stop letting people come in through our border.
Trump now vowing to deport millions of undocumented migrants, saying his plan has, quote, no price tag.
I don't even know how I feel about this, because some of them migrants are really running from something, and I feel for them, because it's not easy to do it the right way. I feel for them, but you have to do it the right way, because Trump ain't playing. I'm telling you, Trump is not playing.
He's also threatening to impose a tariff of 25% on Mexican imports unless Mexico's government curbs what he describes as an onslaught of immigration. Those promises now creating uncertainty and anxiety among migrants making the taxing journey. This caravan, which set off with nearly 3,000
people, that's crazy. How do we feed all these people? And this is just one day, probably.
People on Election Day, has dwindled to just about half of its original size, according to Reuters. This man from Venezuela saying now that Trump has won, he doesn't know what to do, but returning to Venezuela for him is like being shot in the head.
You see what I'm saying? These people are really running from, so like, these countries. Y'all be thinking America is so bad. Y'all be so quick to take them flights and go to them other countries. Them other countries, them niggas be wilding, shooting kids, all type of shit. And before you go saying, TT, they do that here. Yeah, but not that much though. And I know what you about to say. No, TT, because we be doing a lot of crazy shit here in America. And that's true. But at the same time, let's just be real, bro. And to all my Americans that love traveling to them other countries, let's just keep it a buck, bro. We have consequences. A lot of those countries, there's no consequences. There's no structure. There's no rules. You got babies killing, and then they can get away with it. You know what I mean? Like America, we hold ourselves to a certain standard. Certain things we can't do and get away with. Now, granted, there's things that slip through the cracks, but come on, let's be real. America is not the best place in the world, but it's getting better. And it damn sure ain't the worst. All right? You don't see us trying to lead this motherfucker and go over there willingly. Well, not willingly. So, you know, I say that to say, you know, it's just like, I love America, and I feel for these migrants, bro.
Migrants in Mexican border cities waiting for legal entry through the CBP-1 program now also worried their plans might be upended. Some, like this woman, are anxious that the appointments they've waited months for under the CBP-1 program could be canceled.
Él inició la conversación felicitándome.
On Friday, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum saying she had a, quote, very friendly phone call with Trump in which they congratulated each other's presidential wins and said there will be time in the future to discuss the border issue. Time that many migrants now fear is running out for them.
Okay, Ellison Barber joins us now in studio. So, Ellison, going back to that CBP-1
What's her name? Ellison?
app that you mentioned, this is something the Biden
Many migrants now fear
I know y'all like, TT, why you want to know this girl name?
is running out for them.
Okay, Ellison Barber joins us now in studio. So, Ellison, going back to that CBP-1 app that you mentioned, this is something the Biden administration set up. Has the Trump administration or the Trump team said anything yet about what they're going to do with that?
So it's interesting because they obviously spend so much time talking about their plans as it relates to the U.S.-Mexico border. But in terms of comments about CBP-1 in particular, really not a lot of detailed comments from Donald Trump himself. However, back in mid-September, we did find where he mentioned CBP-1 in a post on X and Truth Social. He said in part this, quote, "We will stop all migrant flights, end all illegal entries, terminate the Kamala phone app for smuggling illegals," put in parentheses there, CBP-1 app. And then he went on to list a couple of others.
She had an app that was for smuggling illegals? That's crazy.
Things. So he talked about
And that could be kind of chaotic because people are in the queue already in some
Right. People are in the queue. And what he hasn't said, which is what's making so many people panic, he's made this comment saying, I would terminate that app, but hasn't said when that would happen, hasn't said how or how it would fit into his broader immigration policies moving forward. And that's part of why so many people are like, we don't know what's going to happen next, but you said you might get rid of this. Even if it was in that one post, it's leading to a lot of additional questions.
And I'm sure we'll learn in January as soon as he takes office.
Yo, Trump is not playing.
Ellison, we thank you for the
Shout out NBC News. Subscribe for the vibe. I'm out.